Welcome to this episode of the Happy Workaholic Podcast. I'm your host, Kellyanne Gorman. I'm a business and LinkedIn coach as well as a luxury brand consultant. I help business owners take their brands to the next level by implementing my personal techniques when it comes to growing their service, sales, and social media. Over the past 20 years, I've grown multiple brands in the beauty, hospitality, health, and luxury travel markets. I've exceeded all of their expectations, and I'm here to share my tips and tricks on how I did it. Inspiration, motivation, and determination are what got me to where I am today, so you can definitely expect some pretty crazy stories to be shared here as well. Don't forget, the conversations happen after each episode in the Happy Workaholic Podcast Facebook group. That's where I'll be every week to answer all of your questions. Now, if you want to hear any of my exclusive news first, just visit thehappyworkaholic.com and sign up for my weekly VIP newsletter. Now let's get started with today's show. Hey guys, how are you? Welcome back to another episode of the Happy Workaholic Podcast. I am still in sunny San Diego, and I am sitting outside by a little waterfall. So if you hear that trickling noise, I hope it's very soothing as it is for me. So today I want to talk about lessons I've learned and what you should keep in mind when launching a product or service. So I just launched a group coaching, which you've probably heard about on my last podcast, or if you follow me on social media. I launched 2 new group coaching sessions, which are called Leverage Your LinkedIn and the Podcast Project. So if you want to hear more about those, you can just visit thehappyworkaholic.com and click on group coaching. But what I've learned when you launch, and in order to have a successful launch, is to make sure you have a plan mapped out. You want to make sure that you're charging enough for your time of prepping the product or service or the launch, and you want to make sure that you are incorporating your time for coaching for the actual product or service. And as far as phone calls and following up, your time is worth money. So you want to make sure you have everything mapped out. You want to make sure you have all your money situated, and you're coaching and launching your product or service, you're charging enough. And it doesn't have to be perfect in the beginning. You don't even need to have like a perfect sales page. Just put something up on your website if that's what you want to do as far as your landing page. A lot of us online business coaches have sales funnels in place. I have in the past. However, I do a lot more selling through LinkedIn and Instagram and Facebook rather than a complete website sales funnel, because I like to put my face out there. I like to do more live videos and coaching online so that I can really start creating a relationship with people online or in real life, so that they get to know me, so that they get to see like who I am, where I came from, why I'm doing what I'm doing. But some of the lessons that I've learned is that I've spent so much time prepping and preparing, where really what I had to do was just launch. And nothing has to be perfect in the beginning. It's okay if it's not perfect, because as an entrepreneur, and if you want to be a creative, and if you are a creative type, you're always going to create something else. You're always going to be able to add more. There's no rule book that says you have to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, a little hummingbird just went by. I wish you guys could have seen that. It's so pretty. There's no rule book. There's no rules set in stone that you have to do this in order to launch. Everybody's business is different. I had a makeup line once, and I always launched new products on my birthday or for significant dates in my life that just made sense to me, because everything regarding my makeup line and about it told a story. All the names of the products, I had 42 SKUs, were named about places in my life or how I've traveled or my friends' names or nicknames. They all had a meaning. Not everybody knew that, but for me, even my font. My font was Gaelic. I'm Irish, so that had a meaning to me, and I own that font. And the name had a meaning, and everything happened in threes for me. So that was also a reason why I named the makeup line Giddy. So long story short, which I always like to say, I just want you to know not to stress out so much in the preparing and prepping for your launches, whether it's a product, a service, a coaching program, anything. If you have any other questions, you can always send me an email, hello@kellyanngorman.com, and I'd love to answer them for you. But don't put so much stress on making it perfect. And I'm going to go into that more on another show. But as far as the lessons I've learned, I've spent too much time preparing, and then I didn't have a successful launch, where I should have just put it out there and done a live video and sold it and have sold out like I've done in the past. So it's really up to you and how you feel comfortable. But as far as the money goes, you want to make sure that you're charging enough of all of the time spent in preparation and preparing for that product or service launch or coaching program to be launched. And if you want to incorporate sales funnels to do it automatically, that takes a lot of time to set up. So you want to make sure you're charging enough. So if you guys, like I said, have any questions, please shoot me an email, or you can always visit us in the Happy Workaholic Podcast Facebook group. But if you ever have any doubt and you want to make sure everything's perfect, it doesn't have to be in the very beginning. I'm such a perfectionist, and I tend to do that in the beginning, and then I end up wasting too much time when I could have just done it after the fact and build up on it after the launch had already taken place. So to recap, lessons that I've learned from launching is it does not have to be perfect when you launch. Put your name and face out there so that you can start creating more of a relationship with people online as well as in person. And also make sure you're charging enough. Make sure that you're getting paid for your time and effort put into creating all these sales funnels, creating lead pages, sales pages, your live videos, and what you're doing to promote this product, service, or coaching program online. You want to make sure that your time is worth money and that everything is taken care of on your side so that you can live a happy and healthy life. So that's what I wanted to discuss today, and I'd love to continue more. So feel free to email me at any time, and let's talk about it over in the Facebook group. I hope you guys are having a great day, and I'll talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to today's show. If you liked this episode, please let me know by writing me a review for the Happy Workaholic Podcast. I would truly appreciate it. As I always say, sharing is caring. Don't forget, the after show happens after each episode in the Happy Workaholic Podcast Facebook group. That's where I'll be every week to answer all of your questions. Now, if you prefer tuning in live, you can now watch the Happy Workaholic Show, which airs every Wednesday on Facebook right on my very own business page. And for a behind-the-scenes look at my life, you can follow along on Instagram at KKinVegas, where I'm constantly posting on my feed and my stories. Lots of tips and tricks are always shared there. Thanks again for listening, and we'll talk again soon.